Huh? No, I don't want that.
Quarantine has got me thinking about you when I don't even want you here. I'm trying to be comfortable with myself, but these dreams won't let me be. I can fly across the world to be far away from you. The universe will find its way to bring us together again. Even in my dreams, you're there. In my dreams, you're there. Even in my dreams, you're there. In my dreams, you were playing Corcovado on a beach in Brazil. You were reaching over to kiss me. Then I woke up in my bed alone once again. Quarantine has got me thinking about you when I don't even want you here. Trying to be comfortable with myself, but these dreams won't let me be. I can fly across the world to be far away from you, but the universe will find its way to bring us together again. Even in my dreams, you're there. In my dreams, you're there. Even in my dreams, you're there. In my
Hey! Alright, it's your girl Ari, aka Nadia Sabe, aka Princess of the Darkness, aka Lil G, all of that cool stuff. I'm coming to you guys again, like very relaxed. My acne is in full fledged, but that's just how it goes. That's life. Anyways, I hope that your weekend has gone great and you're having a nice, relaxing Sunday. We're going to talk about some music industry news. We are going to review some music today. I'm not going to be on the radio tomorrow, but we will pick up next week. With that being said, let's just get straight into the music. Let's just get right into it. First off, we have a song called Island Punch from Moyo's World. I saw Moyo perform a couple of years ago here in Orlando and kind of have like a little obsession with her. And so I was super excited to get this song. It's a slower tempo, sensual Afrobeat type of song. There's a great mix on this. The ear candy is great. There's a lot of variation in the production, which, just continues to make you want to listen to it every, even 5 to 10 seconds. There's something new happening, whether it's in the production or, what's happening vocally in your cadence or your melodies. Very groovy. It's a great song. I definitely recommend, if you like Afrobeat, go check it out. You're gonna like it for sure. And she has just a bunch of really cool, like, versatile music that you should definitely go check out. Love her branding. She's very cohesive. Moving forward, we have, okay, so I usually don't review like projects, but since we've been a little bit slow and I have a special place in my heart for this person, we are going to review the Marshes EP from The Wicked Saint. This is someone I've known for a while. We used to work together. I used to oversee him as an intern. Shout out to Full Sail and just being a super cool, smart individual. But one thing, similar to Moyo, The Wicked Saint has very cohesive branding, extremely cohesive branding. Like, from top to bottom, that's something that I really admire about him and have appreciated throughout my time of knowing him. Now, this EP, I have my things with it. My favorite song off of it, I'll start there, is called Been Too Long. And I had actually heard this song prior to this at like listening sessions and things like that. This song has the most variation out of everything in the EP. The most ear candy, the most interesting melodies, and the most change within melodies within the song. And I feel like the production style also had a very stark difference from the rest of the tracks in the EP. Now, I feel like this is more of a solidification of your voice. I feel like you really found your voice in this EP. I really loved whatever you were using in terms of like the levels for your mix. I feel like worked very, very well for you. And yeah, the whole thing was very cohesive. There was great transitions. The mix was great, but it was almost too cohesive. It was almost too repetitive. Like, there would be, I'll just start with like the first 3 tracks, right, are almost so similar that you cannot distinguish between them when you're listening to it, because the transition is amazing, but then once you get into the meat of the song that follows it, you're using the same sound selections, the same type of tools and things like that in each song that doesn't allow for us to have like that clear separation. So I would definitely try to find, okay, I found my voice. I know that I like this alternative, a lot of sound selection coming from like the emo rap styles and, sad boy shit. So we know that that's your lane, but what are you going to do in order to create something that's a little bit more distinct, not only from like those genres and the people who are doing similar stuff, but within your individual music? How are you going to make each thing stand out? Because yeah, at some point it did get repetitive, and Been Too Long was a breath of fresh air because it had some of those distinct changes, specifically when it has to do with drums, that really was able to like get me excited. Yeah, the last thing that I'll say about this that I thought was pretty interesting is it seems like the way that you formatted the storyline through the tracks was like backwards, like, because the saddest song to me is in the very first track. And then in the very last track, you talk about meeting a girl in the marshes and I'm like, okay, I think I see what's happening here. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me. And I thought it was pretty cool, traveling back in time through the structure of the project. Okay, moving forward, we have a song called Peace of Mind from Just Juju. Let me format this properly. This is a classic trap beat with like those tropical influences. PJ, do you know what that the instrument is? That it's like the pans and they have the mallets and then a big steel drums. Thank you, PJ. So a lot of steel drums in here with the you know what I'm talking about. Which is like I said, is a classic track beat. Like, we hear that a lot. We hear that specific sound selection and type of sample chop quite a bit. you can definitely rap, but your cadence doesn't change too much. So like I'm hearing really good bars, I'm hearing really good punchlines, but I'm not hearing a lot of, like I said, changing cadence. You're just kind of na 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 the whole time. And that you just can't, you gotta make it interesting in some way. Because like I said, you can rap, like the bars are there. We just have to change up the cadence so that we're keeping people entertained and engaged the whole time. I thought it was pretty funny because your voice sounds like a mixture of Kyle and Blueface, which I feel like is a totally, like, obviously two different worlds. But vocally, just listen to the song and tell me if I'm wrong, that this man don't sound like a vocal love child of those two people. Moving forward, probably my favorite song of this week is Patience from Pray for Pan. This is a classic piano sample chop, like very straight hip hop. I really like the high pitch. Okay, like I said, straight hip hop, but this man's vocals are like tuned up, very high pitch. I like it because it's different. It's like I totally did not expect to hear that over the production that I was hearing. But the way that it's mixed, I still can hear some of the quality of your voice. Like, you don't just sound like Alvin and the Chipmunk. I can still hear some of, like, the rasp and, like I said, the quality of your voice, which I don't know how you did that, what you did, but I like it. I really like it. And it works. It's an unexpected, unexpected, but it really works. And overall, great variation in your melody. I was bobbing my whole head the whole time. You do a really, really good job of, the production was good, and there was variation in it. It wasn't a loop, you know what I mean? It wasn't a loop. But you and your vocal and the ability that you have, not only lyrically, but in terms of like melody, was really, really able to shine through. And yeah, that shit was hard. I'm playing you on the radio next week. I'm playing Moyo on the radio next week, and I will be playing Been Too Long on the radio next week as well, just to move past that. The last song that we're going to talk about is by Dre Fridge, and it is called Paranoid. Similar to our little tropical steel drum situation, we have a classic trap mandolin sample. You know what I'm saying? We've heard a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? This is a very repetitive song in all aspects. This beat is extremely loopy. Your cadence basically does not change. It's really easy to remember. You know what I'm saying? It would do very well with like call response with an audience. They're gonna get those lyrics and they're gonna get that chorus the first time you do it. So that's great. But the song feels longer than it is because it's repetitive. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that it's not a good song. It's just repetitive. It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? So my suggestion is I would take one of the choruses out or shove a bridge in there that has enough distinguishable like characteristics from the rest of your song so that we don't feel like we're listening to a loop over and over and over again. Because I guarantee, like I said, the song itself is not bad. It can just be made better, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunities for people to like be converted and to be really listening to your music, just because in my opinion, it's a little bit lazy to just da 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 unless there's a purpose behind it. And if there is a purpose behind it, I love, fuck me. But I would love to know what the purpose is so I can have a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're also going to be reviewing some more music from you next week. And I did listen to that song. I like the versatility that you have. So I will say that before we jump into that song next week. Okay, we're done with music reviews. We've gotten through it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, y'all. We're going to talk about some industry updates. We have quite a bit, so I'm going to try and move through them as quick as possible. Okay. First up, despite several years of blistering hype about the rise of the metaverse, new data from Piper Sandler indicates that there's little real interest among younger Americans. According to the firm's latest survey of 5,600 teens, Just 27% own a VR device compared to the 87% iPhone ownership rate among teens. Just 4% of the US teens actually use VR on a daily basis. I think this is really interesting. It obviously is letting us know currently where we're at within, the Gen Z and whatever is below us, how they're taking on the metaverse and VR specifically. And there's a couple things I wanted to talk about with this. First of all, it's just a clear testament that things are not happening as quickly as we may think that they are, or that like some people may want us to think, or whatever the situation is, right? We are not at the place where VR is taking over reality. The thing we do need to be worried about is AI, right? And we're going to talk about that later. We've talked about it on the podcast before, and why we need to care, But VR is something that people are not adapting, and it's not accessible. That is the biggest crux of all this shit and what we need to care about and The reason that kids aren't using VR a lot is because it costs $1,000 to get the equipment. People in the United States most people don't even have $500 saved up in their savings account for emergencies. There's not a lot of kids who are just getting VR headsets, you know what I mean? It's people who, upper middle class and folks who are a little bit more well off and which is not the majority of Americans. So this is technology that is not readily accessible, meaning that it's not going to be adopted amongst the masses of the world, you know what I'm saying? AI is a totally different story. We have ChatGPT, which is a free platform that anyone can use as long as you have access to internet. If you can go to a library, you can use AI. You know what I'm saying? That is a stark difference from what we're seeing in other things that have to do with Web3, like crypto and stuff like that. A lot of people talking about crypto. Crypto, it does not have the infrastructure or the mass adoption to see its potential right now. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we need to continue to do research on things, but the overall theme is that there are certain things like AI that are accessible that we do need to get a grip on now because it's spiraling because of the accessibility and the amount of people using it and for what they are using it, right? Then we have other things like crypto and VR that have a long ways to go because of that accessibility problem or issue or situation that is not allowing it to move forward in the ways that we're seeing some of these other things. Okay? Next is a position change. Leslie DiPiero joins Jonas Group Entertainment as the company's new president of Jonas Group Publishing. Effective May 31st, the Nashville-based division first opened its doors in 2020 and has since been steadily expanding its catalog acquisitions, recording, and sync opportunities in the region. We're talking again about some Nashville stuff moving forward. I'm going to be in Nashville next month, by the way, so that's one of the reasons I put this in, because I have okay. President Portia Sabin of the Music Business Association says that she's received calls from projected attendees for the annual Music Biz Conference in Nashville who are afraid of the state's latest laws. I will be in Nashville next month for the Music Biz Conference with Portia and with a whole bunch of other people over there. So I'm excited to actually be able to have conversations about this with them, first of all. But the main reason that I put this in here, there's more to talk about, in terms of like what is happening in Tennessee specifically, but I don't think this is the right space to talk about that stuff, okay? But what I will say about it is that what's happening politically in these states, this Tennessee, Nashville, a powerhouse state in music, people are scared to go to one of the biggest music industry conferences in the United States because of the political things that are going on. And that is, an issue. I'm sure that there's people who either gave their tickets away, transferred their tickets, got their tickets refunded for several things, not just the Music Biz Conference, because, I live in Florida. We got crazy shit going on here too. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that we're having someone like Portia, who is a huge power player in this industry, at one of the most powerful organizations in the industry, talking about it and saying, we're having issues making our attendees, our organization members feel safe. and feel heard and understood, whatever the situation is. But safety, of course, is the number one concern. And that's an issue for the industry at large, and especially deciding in the future and now where we want our hubs to be. Do we want them to be in places, like Florida and like Nashville, who are passing these very, very draconian laws? That's the only opinionated thing I'm going to say about it. It's important to stay up to date on, because I think that it's easy for industries, especially entertainment, to like just not even think about the rest of the world and like what's going on and what that means for our industry on a lower level. You know what I mean? That's not something that the majority of the music industry, especially like independents and stuff, are thinking about, because it's not a lot of the information isn't stuff that's like being readily supplied. You know what I mean? But everything is connected. You know what I'm saying? Everything is connected. And I think that that's a really good example about that, is that, we, in entertainment, we cannot ignore these political things or, current events and things like that, because it does affect our industry in a plethora of ways. And this is just one example. Whew. All right. In a post-pandemic world, the demand for virtual live shows is dwindling. Popular platforms like Spotify, Reddit, and more have shut down their features for this. So what are Twitter and Amazon waiting for? On the heels of canceling several live audio shows, Spotify is now entirely shutting down its live audio app, Spotify Live. Spotify was one of many major platforms to invest in live audio after Clubhouse kickstarted the craze during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is not the only company struggling to resuscitate this format. Facebook closed its live audio rooms and features last year, and Reddit shut down Reddit Talk last month. Regarding major platforms, Twitter Spaces and Amazon AMP are the last ones standing. The reason I want to talk about this is, firstly, I was on Clubhouse for a while. It's cool. I think that there's value in these kind of spaces. You know what I mean? I think it's cool. But this is just an example of, companies hopping on a trend that fizzled out because it wasn't viable. Now, if Clubhouse would have just been Clubhouse, and all these other folks wouldn't have came on to try to like corner the market, or rather be competitive in the market, Clubhouse first of all would obviously be doing a lot better, but there would probably, in my opinion, be a little bit more of like consistency with the folks who may have found themselves in those spaces before, right? So I'll give myself an example. I started with Clubhouse. It was cool. My mom introduced me to it. I was able to find some cool connections on there, be a part of some cool conversations. But for me personally, it wasn't valuable enough for me to like continue spending my time on it, right? Then Twitter Spaces popped up. I'll be in there every once in a while, but it's just, for me personally, I tried it and it wasn't right for me. There's people now who are in like every single one of them, where I've stick with one, Basically what I'm saying is that all of these new companies who came and did it, I feel like did not give the actual, how do I put it? The fad or the trend did not allow the actual value to be, the potential value to like come to light. You know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of here and then it was gone. Because it was a trend. Everyone jumped off of it. And I don't think that certain infrastructure wasn't working for everyone. It wasn't competitive enough, with other types of spaces. And then of course, the need for it in certain spaces is now gone because we are in a post-pandemic world. So just a lesson, primarily on trends and when it's time to hop on one and when it's not. Because Clubhouse is going to be cool, moving forward. I'm not sure what their plans are to, redirect the audience that they currently have. But Facebook, Reddit, they just spent a whole bunch of money to shut the programs down. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not finding that retention. Okay, moving on. I just be talking, man. God. Okay. In an unusual move that seems intended to eliminate age discrimination in music releases, BMG, one of the world's largest music companies, announced on Tuesday that it will abandon the outdated industry direction between frontline, aka new releases, and older catalog recordings. The company, which notes that older catalog recordings account for up to 3/4 of the revenue in the streaming era, will fully integrate its new release and catalog recordings business. It is the first major company in the industry to do so. CEO Hartwig Masuch, who has led the company since 2008's relaunch, said, "Music fans demonstrate on a daily basis that they reject the music industry's outdated privileging of new music over older music. Music is music regardless of its age. Great artists and great music have no expiry date, and we believe it is time for the music industry to reflect that." I think it's very cool, and obviously, it's challenging the standard practice, which I think is really cool. And yeah, I mean, we'll be able to see if this format changing actually is able to translate into higher sales for these projects, or if it's detrimental to the newer music that's not being pushed to the front anymore, or if it's solely going to be done based off of sales, and if a song from the 50s just happens to be doing better than most of the songs that just came out a week ago, then that's what they're going to push to the front. But we'll continue to see how it develops and what information it's able to give to us once things have gone on for some time. We're able to observe. Okay, next we're going to talk about AI. So in short, the fake song with Drake and The Weeknd has been taken off on streaming platforms. We talked about last week how Universal is really knocking on DSP doors to stop using certain data collection and so on and so forth, and really coming hard on them on being able to weed out these AI generated vocals and not allow them to come through to the platform, which is its own thing in its own and comes with a lot of trouble. But the song itself, what is it called, Heart on My Sleeve or something like that, is off of DSPs, or Spotify at least. Another cool thing that I think is interesting is that Instagram just bumped up their number of links that you can have in your bio to 5. So some people are, opting out of their Linktree subscriptions or whatever the situation is. Someone like me, I need way more than 5 links, so I'm going to keep my situation. But just as a tidbit, if you're paying for Linktree, don't. There's just so much better other free platforms that you can use, and you're wasting your money. So, yeah, moving on, but that is a cool update. You know what I mean? Okay. Another cool update, vinyl album sales in the United States surpassed CD sales for the first time since 1987 last year. According to the Recording Industry Association of America, or the IRIAA, 40 million vinyl records were sold in the U.S. last year, up from just 1.3 million in 2007, the year that the Record Store Day was conceived. In meantime, CD album sales plummeted from 500 million units in 2007 to just 33.4 million last year, marking the first time in 35 years that vinyl had the upper hand against its digital descendant. I think that is quite interesting. We've talked about the rise of vinyl before and the importance for, artists as individuals to know their audience and to know if that's something that they're interested in and something that they are able to, generate profit from. And just continuing to show that, vinyl is not dead and it is still a viable way to make money. All right. Next, the RIAA released its final 2022 numbers for Latin music, and it showed that the genre had blown past the $1 billion mark. These numbers confirm a couple of things that we basically already knew. Firstly, Latin music is a powerhouse global genre with an ever-deepening bench of stars, and 2, Bad Bunny is an absolute music industry stud. While the author of this was celebrating a nice win for all of his friends in the music industry, he was also reminded of something that is probably timely to bring up. YouTube still has a value gap. You'll notice that Latin music indexes much higher for free ad-supported tiers than it does in paid subscriptions. Left to right below, you can see Latin music share, and I'm going to go over to what they're talking about, like the graph. You can see Latin music share of the overall U.S. market, and Latin music share of ad-supported music streams in the U.S. So essentially what that is saying in short is obviously we know that Latin music is taking the fuck over. Like They just surpassed the genre alone $1 billion in revenue. And Bad Bunny is a huge driver behind that. He's a fucking superstar, like they said, a music industry stud. He is killing it right now in every single way possible. And what they're explaining here, and I think this is the easiest way to kind of break it down, is with this graphic here, estimated revenue per user. Spotify, if you have a subscription, you're probably paying $10 to $20. If you're a student, maybe pay around $5, whatever the situation is. But the average YouTube user is not a YouTube Music or a YouTube TV subscriber. They're not paying anything to access the content. Money is being generated through ad revenue. And that is what kind of the crux of what he's talking about is like, hey, first of all, the listeners that are viewing Latin music are not usually subscribed members to YouTube. They're not paying an upfront fee. But those are also the people that are generating the most ad revenue for you and the most traction in terms of just, viewership, right? So just outlining that discrepancy in that, even though they're generating so much revenue in AdSense and so much watch time, just because they are not subscription-based, they're not generating the same revenue that a platform like Spotify would for Bad Bunny specifically. Now, you can read more into this article on like why that is, how YouTube works, and how AdSense works, and la da 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 da. But I think it's interesting to bring up, and like I said, if you want to learn more about it, I haven't said it yet, there will be a document linked in the description of these videos, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, whatever the situation is, that will have the links to all of the articles and the news stories that I'm talking about. Okay. Moving forward, we have our final industry update story. Universal Music Group has promoted executive Corey Williams to Vice President of Business and Legal Affairs, Rights and Clearances for Republic Records, Def Jam Recordings, and Island Records. He has a lot of work ahead of him. All right, some legal news. We've only got 3 stories, so we're going to brush past it pretty quickly. First up, the long-running legal dispute between grunge icon Soundgarden and Vicky Cornell, the widow of late lead singer Chris Cornell, has officially been resolved, according to a statement posted on the social media account of the band and Cornell on Monday morning, April 17th. The agreement will pave the way for the eventual release of Cornell's final recorded vocals with the group. The next 2 are lawsuits. So first we have Glorilla being sued in a Louisiana court for alleged copyright infringement on her hit tracks Tomorrow and Tomorrow 2. The lawsuit comes from Ivory Paynes, part of the 1990s New Orleans rap outfit Doghouse Posse. In a complaint filed on April 19th, the U.S. District Court of Eastern District, Louisiana, Paynes alleges that Tomorrow and Tomorrow 2 misappropriates key protected elements of Doghouse Posse's 1994 track Street of the West Bank, which Paynes wrote. I listened to this song. When you listen to them side by side, you're not going to be like, oh, these are the same song or anything like that. What I assume is that he's going from like an extrapolation, interpolation of a sample or sample chop or something like that, because you cannot like decipher, at least personally I can't, where they took something from his song and plugged it into Tomorrow 2. That's what I'm saying. It's most likely a sample that he's suing over. But, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If it's settled, if it, moves forward in any way, whatever. And then the second one is with Drake. Ghanaian artist Arbra4 has filed a lawsuit against Drake, claiming that the superstar rapper's 2022 track, Calling My Name, featured an unauthorized sample from one of Arbra4's own works. I'm definitely saying his name wrong. I apologize. The lawsuit seeks a minimum of $10 million in damages and names a whole host of co-defendants, including Drake's recording company, OVO, Republic Records, its owner, Universal Music Group, and a number of affiliated companies. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Moving forward, we have a couple of deals, acquisitions, and partnerships to talk about. First, we have Manny Fresh selling his music catalog to Reservoir Media for an undisclosed amount. The deal includes both publishing and recorded music rights. Then, at the start of the year, Downtown Music Holdings announced that it had acquired UK-based music technology company Curve Royalty Systems. The move was the latest in a series of strategic acquisitions made by Downtown in recent years. The New York-based company has also acquired companies including B2B music tech services platform Fuga and indies distributor CD Baby, whilst making investments in the likes of Breadbeat, Vamper, and Vamper. Curve, founded in 2019, serves over 1,000 labels and publishers worldwide and reportedly processes nearly $1 billion of revenue across 2.3 billion lines of data in 2022. So really just an update on how that relationship is going, or those relationships and acquisitions are going. And if you read more into that, it'll talk about like the future plans of the acquisitions and the partnerships that were just named there. So if you want to learn more about that, you can. But we're gonna wrap things up. Finally, in this section, workout tracking app Strava integrated with music streaming platform Spotify. How it works: the newly launched feature allows Strava users to stream, control, explore music from the record screen. The in-app widget eliminates the need to switch between platforms. I think it's a cool integration. I don't know how necessary it is. I'm sure that it's not that big of a deal. It is a convenience thing. But it will also probably push Strava users who maybe aren't using Spotify at the moment to use it, to kind of make a switch over, just in terms of, once again, that, convenience. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It's not a huge deal, though. Ending this off, we have a couple of artist accomplishments. First, we're going to be talking about Ice Spice and Nicki. Nicki has a couple of things going on, so let's talk about what she has going on. After nearly 2 decades in the music industry, the Super Freaky Girl artist announced the launch of her new record label, recently named Heavy on It. The news was followed by another development in which she has been cast as the lead star in upcoming animated series Lady Danger, based on Alex DeCampi's comic book series from Dark Horse. She will also executive produce alongside Curtis 50 Cent Jackson of G Unit Film and Television and Blackish executive producer Paul Young, along with the series writers Paz Roz, creator Carlton Jordan, and Queen's executive producer Crystal Roberson. And this is all, kind of following the official music video for Princess Diana dropping on the 14th and immediately becoming trending #1 on YouTube. And simultaneously, there were 4 different versions of Princess Diana charting on Apple Music, some of them with Nicki, some of them without, some of them explicit, some of them without. If you don't know, they released like 5 or 6 different versions of Princess Diana. Some of them, once again, with Nicki, some of them without, some of them explicit, some of them without, some of them are sped up, slowed, whole slew of shit, you know what I'm saying? But they have all been doing very well streaming. I have listened to them. And, this, let's just stamp this moment in history of Nicki Minaj actually, like, real deal taking a young female rapper under her wing, calling her the princess, and, like, really, like, supporting her. That's, personally, a really, really, really big deal to see Nicki doing that. I was talking to my friend Leo over at Leo Night Uncensored about how I feel about Nicki. I have my own personal opinions and beliefs, and I think the truth is that she's the queen of rap. Nobody could take that from her, especially contemporarily. But I kind of think that she's a mean, bitter person at sometimes. So seeing her really push, I just really didn't expect it, and I'm really happy that it's happening. I'm really happy for Ice Spice, and I think we're gonna continue to see them build a relationship, make music together, and Ice Spice ain't going fucking nowhere, and I'm very, very happy about that because she's fucking awesome. And then the final thing that we're going to talk about is the Spanish flamenco pop star David Bisbal, honored with the Pioneer Award at the 2023 Latin Music Awards, which took place on April 20th in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's all we have for today, you guys. Shout out, as always, to Inner Space Orlando for being the reason that we're so freaking cool. Shout out to PJ in the back for helping me out today. Just with not being a dumbass and, you know, knowing what certain instruments are, shit like that. But yeah, if you want to learn anything more about Interspace in Orlando and the amazing services and space that they have here, you just see our Instagrams going across, so you can hit us up on Instagram. You can also find, you know, their like Google business and all that and be able to contact them that way. But yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Please, please, please keep submitting music. It's always free. Just send it over to either my Instagram down there, which is going across right now, or you can send it to my email, which is ari@darendefy.net. If you have any questions or if there are any specific stories that you want me to talk about, please also send me a DM or email me. I always want to talk about that, you know, what you guys want to talk about, what you guys find interesting. So it's much appreciated. What's coming up? We have the next Dare and Defy Jam session coming up on May 6th. And then after that in June, we're going to start doing them like every other week. So definitely get prepared. I am looking for vendors for that. So if anyone is interested in, you know, food vending, definitely let me know. You know, it's coming up. What else? PJ, you have anything you want me to shout out? Okay, so we've got a gaming tournament happening here at Interspace April 27th, correct? Okay, a Mario Kart specific tournament happening April 27th. And then there's going to be an entertainment night on Cinco de Mayo. If you don't know what entertainment night is, we got the movie room set up, we got games. It's really just, you know, a space for people to come hang out and, you know, be a community, have fun without it necessarily being a club setting, without it necessarily being a networking setting. Just a space to like have fun and like play with other people. You know what I'm saying? Which we all need sometimes. It's a great de-stressor. It's nothing crazy. I love the entertainment nights personally. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I'm not going to be on the radio show tomorrow, but I will be back next week. So if you're interested in booking an interview, definitely let me know. If you want to learn more about that, you can let me know as well. We are going to be putting out like an a la carte menu soon for folks on a budget who may not be able to purchase a package but still want to come on air, because we want to keep things accessible. We want everyone to, you know, have an opportunity to work with us. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to be traveling a lot of May, like I said, so we're probably not going to be on the podcast every week in May, but I think we'll be able to get 2 weeks out. Yeah, so if you're in Nashville, you're going to be at the Music Biz Conference, let me know, because I will be there working the event, so, you know, I will have ample opportunity to come and meet you, say hi, whatever the situation is, answer questions, all that good stuff. And then I'm going to Puerto Rico for my birthday, y'all. I'm turning 20 years old. I'm turning 20, y'all. It's happening. I'm going to turn 20 in Puerto Rico. And I'm really excited about it. So, yeah, wish me happy birthday. Send me fucking money, you know. Purchase my services. You know, shout me out, all that good stuff, because it's gonna be celebration month for me personally. I'm going crazy. It's my second decade on fucking Earth, and I'm a trill ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I deserve to feel myself and to have a great 20th birthday, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Bye. Have a good rest of your day, you guys. I will see you next week.
Get you there, I'm so copacetic. LSD, hallucinogen, I'm for your mind. Grade A for that out of body. Them other slaves stay porta potty. Ground level, I'm mortified. Turn niggas into Casper early, y'all already got ghostwriters. That's why your bitch want a dope nigga, give a high nose like the override. Big Benny had the joint ready, just puff past me that bankroll. We cross you out like it's Bango, no investigation, only case closed. Double up on my double cup, the ingredients make your thing slower. You pass the test when you fuck with me, I'm the easy answer, no way, hold up. Either way, I'm raw, dog, condom off when I'm in this bitch. Y'all wanted that uncut, I can touch your soul live in the red. On your head and open chest, keep your guard up, no goalie net. Y'all cop blocks can't stop me, my field goes 100%. Yeah.
I'm so raw, I'm so dope. You can like me, you can smoke. Unlike pills, you can pop me, get you where you tryna go. Hey, you leaning, will it beaming? Double cut me moving slow. Turn a housewife to a hoe. I'm so fucking dope. I'm so raw.